ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 179. A little late. Technical difficulties with my stupid computer. We're good to go. Myself and Mark are here, as you can see if you're checking us out on YouTube. Thank you for the view, as always. Got a lot to get into. Not too much. Okay. Ready to go, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, let's do the recording first.
Since you're wearing a NASCAR hat, I'm going to put on...
All right, good. I'm going to go ahead and do the intro first. All right. Hope everyone enjoys episode 179. Uh-oh. What happened?
Dude, we're all disconnected, huh? Oh.
I think if the people are watching the YouTube video now or at a later time, then they'll just see us like, oh. No, it's all good.
No, because I don't know what it is with this computer, but I have to have it plugged into the power at all times when I'm on this external monitor.
Okay.
When I'm on my other monitor, it doesn't have to be plugged into the power at all times. So I accidentally unplugged the power and it disconnected me from from the main screen.
Okay. All good. Gonna do the intro in 10 seconds of silence. If you're all wondering why I'm not in my respective bat cave, the wind is howling today.
Wind is crazy.
Yeah. It's like banging up against my garage door, so it would be hell of annoying. Okay. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another issue of the Comic Bookies podcast, episode 179, coming at you live right here on YouTube, or tomorrow, or sometime whenever in the future, wherever you get your podcasts. This week, got plenty to get into in the comic book side first. We're talking Marvel, Image, Dark Horse has some new stuff out, Boom Studios, AWA, just to name a few. And in news, we have box office numbers for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. James Gunn, he's going to tease a bunch of new characters for the upcoming DCU story. Hold on, I got to do that over with. And in news, we have box office numbers from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Avatar: Way of Water makes its way up to the top 3 all time. James Gunn teases brand new characters in his new DCU, and the only 2 shows coming to Disney Plus for the MCU. And over in sports, the Daytona 500 is in the books. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is your champion. We're on to Fontana. Mark will be there. We're going to get his, wait, hold on. God damn it, that's stupid. Haven't done this in a while. And in sports, the Daytona 500 is in the books. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is your champion. Mark will be in Fontana this weekend, so we'll preview that race. The NBA All-Star Weekend, do we even need it anymore? I say no, and we'll do a standings check-in on the NHL. All that and more on a brand new episode of the Comic Bookies podcast, late night tonight on Tuesday. Let's hit it. Fuck. It's the first time in a while I've done that.
After that all-star performance last week, huh?
What the hell? Kind of flustered with the technical difficulties, I guess. I don't know.
Flustered, huh?
And I'm doing this at like 9:50 and not 9:15.
Damn, it is almost 10. Jesus Lord.
Yeah. But as long as we don't go too much into the comic books, the news is whatever. And then we won't spend too much time on the NBA All-Star Weekend and the NHL. So it's basically books and the 500. So it's not too much.
And Liverpool getting their ass beat.
Oh, yeah, you can also mention that. I'll let you do that. Okay.
I mean, not that it, whatever. I could care less. I didn't even get to really watch I didn't even get to watch the game, to tell you the truth. So I'm glad that I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Okay, going back live in 5, 4, 3. Let me just check. Let me just make sure I press record. I did. Okay, good. On Skype. 3, 2, and welcome back to the city of Chicago, or no, this is still the Central Valley of California, and Mark's over in the greater Bay Area of California, but it is windier than hell for this 179th episode. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube live right now, I am inside. That wind is howling up against the garage door. It's annoying as hell. I got to do it inside today. But this episode and all of the other episodes of the Comic Bookies podcast are brought to you by Treasure Island Comics in Fremont, California. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 2/22/23 is New Comic Book Day. So wherever, nationwide, worldwide, wherever you get your books, go and get your books tomorrow. They come out tomorrow. Or if you're in Europe or in Asia, they're already out. So good for you. But we see Alex every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. He's open those days. Go check him out. Support your local comic book store. Support Alex. And yeah, I love reading. I can't wait to get my books because this week is a lot. We're going to talk about a whole stack of like 11. Last week I only got, 3, so not going to be too much. But now, before I say hi to Mark, it's only Mark this week, by the way. This is our last episode where it's all every single week. We kind of take a break to kind of reset the batteries, take a look at what we want to do going forward with the show. I definitely want to get more involved in Twitter and YouTube and stuff and filming shorts and videos and everything. So next week you won't see us, but it kind of works out, Mark, because next week I would only have 3 books to read, and then the following week it'll be a combined, like 12 or 15. So kind of works out that the long week of my weekend that we're going to actually record, I actually have a big stack of books. But anyways, how are you, sir?
What's up, brother? Man, don't tell me it's gonna start coming to an end, but it's good for us to kind of reset after football season, going every week with so many games and a lot of our picks, and especially having that contest this year. Right. Which, yes, yours truly was victorious there. But, nah, man, just excited to get 179 here in the books. And just, man, this win has been crazy. Just having to drive down through, Niles Canyon and just through Vasco and stuff today. It was pretty wild. But, yeah, just, man, just excited, man. What's up with you?
Nothing much. Just ended another long work week and then just hanging out with the kids. The kids didn't have school on Monday for President's Day. Happy late President's Day to, that was funny. I was watching something on Barstool and they were like, hey, El Prez, happy President's Day. It was like the rundown or whatever. I thought it was pretty funny. Speaking of presidents, hope that Joe Biden's okay when he's took another spill today. So old Sleepy Joe might not be doing too well right now. But anyways, yeah, just hanging out. And, that's usually what it is. If we don't have any plans, it's usually just the normal boring weekends, right? Chores. And, of course, Danielle, she works at home. So my weekend is usually her work week, right? It's kind of how it works out. And I'm just counting down to the days until I switch back up to the day shift, right? No more night shift, Mikey. It's been a solid, 18, 19 months, but no more. We're all going to converge up into 2 day shifts after all the massive layoffs, and there you have it. And hopefully no more layoffs are needed. Fingers crossed.
I mean, I don't know how beneficial that is for you. I don't know how deep and how accustomed you got to that night schedule, but the layoffs might have done you, a favor if you would like to work during the day more. Obviously traffic's going to suck a little bit more for you, but at least your schedule could be a little bit more on par with 95% of the rest of the United States.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, those straight night shifts like that all through the night, it kind of tough. I did it for 2 weeks at an odd job I had when I was younger, way younger in my days. And let me tell you, man, it was tough driving back home at like 7 in the morning when the sun's coming up
Right.
and you're just seeing everyone going to work and you're ending your day.
Yeah, it's pretty
Strange.
weird.
But
Remember that? What's that picture? It's like an old ass disheveled like Saddam Hussein, and it was like 35-year-old night shift workers because it's just like
oh
they
yeah.
look hella old and just like it takes a toll on their body. It's you know what I think it's overall going to be beneficial because I go back to a day shift kind of body schedule like when I come home Sundays anyways. I go to sleep for a few hours, wake up in the afternoon, and then I go back down to bed at night with the kids because I got to wake up Monday morning to take the kids, to take Maddie to school or at least help get her there ready. So I go back and forth between the day shifts. So now I get to stay on an even schedule. My work week now will end at 6 p.m. on a Saturday. I get to spend all my Saturday nights with the kids and not just Sunday, because Sunday sucks because it's like, oh, there's no sleeping in, or I mean, there's no staying up late, playing video games or watching movies with the kids and everything because nope, school's tomorrow. But now I get that Saturday night. Two biggest down
That Disney family night.
yeah, Disney Family Night. She was it a couple weeks ago? They actually watched Lego Batman, so it's not just like Disney. It's other cool kid movies
There
like
it
that.
is.
Yeah. Two major downfalls is, of course, back in the morning commute. I've heard it's horrific the last year and a half.
It's horrible.
Like when it usually took me about an hour and 15, hour and 20 to get from Tracy to Fremont, now it's taking people like around an hour to get from Tracy to Livermore. So it's kind of like, oh, Jesus. That, and then, of course, losing that 15% differential on the night shift. So, I mean, that kind of sucks, but there's nothing I can do about that. But yeah.
Yeah, just people are feeling the wrath of all these tech companies. I mean, all the ones that haven't done all these mass layoffs. But
Right.
I mean, it is pretty crazy because you hear about all these layoffs. I'm sure a lot of them, I'm sure a big percentage of them could be centered around the Bay Area and Silicon Valley here.
Right.
But man, from the traffic, you can't really tell. The traffic's just been getting worse and worse. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I said this before. I think I said this years ago, actually. It's actually on my Facebook somewhere. Made a video. I was stuck in some traffic and it was like coming out of the recession. I had it hard, right? I was like getting laid off and, finding work, not finding work. And that like 2008, 9, whatever it was, 10,
2008.
if you will. And I remember when the traffic started back up, I remember even making like a video on like social saying, if it means for me to be stuck in a little bit of traffic, more traffic, but if it means that people are, actually working and employed and getting back to making some money and the economy can get on the right track. Unfortunately, I think that we're in way different circumstances in our situation now. But, if it means that people are working and people are paying for their mortgages and their family, I can't be mad by being stuck in a little bit of traffic. It is what it is. I mean, we decide to live in this very populous state and,
Right.
that's what we got to deal with, right? For the weather and the scenery and everything, which is crazy because I was actually going to send it to you, but I didn't. Not to get off topic too quick. What about the weather? How we said that it's gotten so cold here. That's how crazy California weather is. Yesterday it was a mere 75 mile day, right?
Ooh,
beautiful spring-like day yesterday. Today it's just completely day and night, wind as hell.
Yeah.
One of the meteorologists here said that the freezing point in the atmosphere, which is at 32 degrees, yesterday was at 11,000 feet, and today it's going to drop down to like 3,500. So a huge
Holy
drop,
crap.
and it's just a huge cold front just pushing in just these clouds. It's nuts.
Right.
Just I kind of like it though. Weather's kind of cool, and I know there's a lot of people that think the same way about me. Those damn storm chasers and twister chasers,
Like the
and
movie
what hell you
Twister?
call them. Yeah, but I mean, they're into it, and those documentaries were like pretty cool. Weather is just a fascinating thing,
Right.
really. Just
That was a great movie, by the way. Great movie.
Yeah.
Twister. They're chasing like the
97, I
something
think,
like that. They're
right?
chasing the F5 Hurricane. That's pretty.
That was a good
That's
one.
dope as hell.
That truck, that old
The
ass
old ass
truck.
truck, and they're bumping some. It was a Sammy Hagar Van Halen song, "Humans Being." Oh man,
The cows when
Yeah,
the
yep.
cows get like in.
yep. But yeah,
That was good CGI back then.
I mean it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we're supposed to get rain on Thursday. So once I start my work week back up, we're supposed to get rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday up here. Hopefully it doesn't follow you, sir, to when you go down to Southern California to the Auto Club Speedway for the race down there at Fontana, the last of it, when it's going to be a 2-mile track. So we'll get into that after we get into some comic books.
And I hope they're not duping me. I hope Auto Club's not duping me. If they come out like in a month or two and say, you know what, we decide we're not going to change it again. Cause the inflation soaring again. Like, the Fed can't get it under control. Like, you know what, we're just going to go back and do the 2-mile again next year. I'm going to be like, you mother effers, you duped me again. It's like the third time on and off. But anyway.
Well, then that means I definitely have to come then, because at a certain point, it's really going to be the last time. All right, so let's get into comic books. So tomorrow, like I said, the 22nd, 2/22/23 is New Comic Book Day. Here's what you can expect at your local comic book stores or online, wherever you get them. DC gives us Nightwing 101, The Flash 793, Batman Superman World's Finest number 12, Wonder Woman 796, A Brand New Era of Superman. Mind you, Superman number 1 comes out tomorrow, and a few honorable mentions. Lazarus Planet continues with Omega, and of course, one of our favorite series, and a podcast we actually follow on Twitter says it's their favorite of the series so far, but Batman One Bad Day Clayface. A very interesting character. I'm not sure how much Mark and Sean know about him. I even know very little. He was actually a character when I first started reading comic books, when the DC Rebirth era started and Detective Comics came out. He was in the first kind of couple arcs of Detective Comics. Marvel gives us Amazing Spider-Man number 20, Thor 31, She-Hulk 10, Deadpool number 4, and Carnage number 10. Image gives us Saga 62, Something is Killing the Children 29, Monstrous 43, and Junkyard Joe number 5. Oh, I have one more. Dude, I think how League of Comic Geeks, that site we usually look up, right, if it's not TI's site, Mark, I think they usually do it by like how many people pull, right? Like Batman's usually number 1, or like a Spider-Man comic. I think like week by week, I think it ranks it from like online polls. Like, yes, I'm pulling this one into my collection, because you can actually sign up for a membership and keep track of your collection through that site. But like 3 full scrolls down, Undiscovered Country 23. Like, it's usually like maybe the second or third row, whatever. It's down there this week. I don't know if people like forgot it because it came back from a little hiatus. I don't know. Continuing on, Boom Studios, Damn Them All number 5. Dark Horse, I'm excited about this one. Another James Tynion. Blue Book number 1. I'm getting that one this week. And AWA gives us Year Zero, Volume 0, number 5. Mark, I hope you're getting that Blue Book, man.
Did you say that Undiscovered Country is coming back this week?
I have Undiscovered Country 23. Yep.
Yes, man. What say you, man? I mean, I think there's some good titles coming out this week.
Right.
Definitely. There's some that before we actually get into the books that we've read, right? You say you got like 11. I got a couple here as well. I think a lot of them are the same. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to, get into the ones that I think are going to be kind of cool this week, right? Flash. Kind of excited about that one. Obviously, that Clayface. We're going to talk about the Selena Kyle, the Catwoman one we read. I thought that one was pretty cool, man.
I did too.
I really, really dug that one. Probably one of my favorite ones. I got Deadpool number 4.
Right.
I'm getting, like I said, after dropping 3 Marvel books, I feel bad for dropping 3 Marvel books in a row, but 2 of them were basically, Captain America books. Obviously, the Amazing Spider-Man, I also dropped off the pull at Treasure Island Comics, Mike, like you did. I just waited one more, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this whole arc with Black Cat. I read the first one, it just didn't do it for me, and then if I get 2 or 3 more, then I'm going to pretty much tell myself, well, I'm halfway through the arc. Now I got to finish it. Now I'm
always making excuses.
And like you said, and it's coming out this week as well. So pretty much every 2 weeks, like you mentioned, it's just too much for something that's not that subpar in my opinion. Right. So I used to say so many times I was excited for Undiscovered Country. Can't say so much that I am as much anymore. How I've, been kind of feeling about this book lately as of a couple months ago, really. How about Damn Them All? I want to ask you, Mike, that Simon Spurrier book from Boom Studios. How are you enjoying that one,
It's pretty cool. I think I said this right when I first started reading the series, that the first 2 issues they were trying to set like a universe and set the stage, right, for a story, and it was confusing as hell. It would be like kind of, what's one story that it kind of does this, where it goes through the story, all the panels of artwork and dialogue, and then you get like a page full of like explaining things. Like, you just saw this word a couple pages ago. This is what that means. I'm like, oh, hell no. So basically it's all these different demons that they kind of are within a coin, and the rich and the famous, criminals and everything, they each have a coin, or like, whoever has a coin kind of can control this god, can control this demon, right? And people are getting in fights and stuff using their demons back and forth. And then this chick, who her uncle was killed, she's still trying to figure out who killed him. She's kind of in charge. She's one of the people who kind of hunts them down, right? And kind of puts them back into hell, and kind of back within the coin, and kind of, like Ghostbusters kind of thing. It's kind of a Ghostbustery feel to it.
Simon Spurrier's trippy.
Yeah, no, it's a trippy book, but as soon as I hit like issue 3, I was like, okay, cool, like I'm really into it now, because it wasn't as confusing. There was a lot of explaining, a lot of like, so what's this again? And like they're doing the explaining within their story and within like a conversation. I was like, dude, I can't. This is too much. And of course, it's in England, so it's with the British accent, and they're doing the, I was like, oh no. So there's a few words where, another, come on, bruv, stuff like that.
Boys, hey, yo, what's up, fam? What's up, fam?
Right.
Top boys.
Something like that. So, but I would say that definitely, if people are listening to this podcast now, Dan the Mall is something definitely to grab, to hook onto. Maybe after that first 6-issue arc, when you can get a trade, get that, but nothing to like hurry up and go to the comic book store and try to get number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not like an amazing story, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, what was that book that I got? It was the little robot. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, but Simon Spurrier does seem kind of trippy. I mean, from what I've read from him, I haven't read too much from him, but he seems all right. Another book, Mike, that's coming out, number 5 this week, that I was thinking about getting it, but I didn't at the time. I think that's when I was probably getting a lot of Marvel and probably those Captain America books and the which one?
Junkyard Joe.
No, not Junkyard Joe. Actually, that is another one, but the other one was this GCPD.
Oh, the Blue Wall.
Blue Walls. Yeah, like that. I haven't heard anything about that book. I haven't seen it get any steam, any talk.
It came out.
If any of our listeners,
It
viewers.
came out right when Gotham City Year 1 came out, like the same week.
Yes,
and I was like,
exactly.
And like I read Gotham City Year 1, and I was like, oh, cool. I think I made the right choice for this one instead of the Blue Wall.
And the Joker was coming out also.
Right. And
the one that we're reading right now, The Man Who Stopped Laughing.
So
there was a lot of
my only fear about the Blue Wall was that I hope to God that it didn't give us any insight as to what we can expect from that Penguin, or the new TV show on HBO Max, the one that was supposed to be about the GCPD, but then they're kind of revamping it to be more of an Arkham Asylum thing. I was hoping that they wouldn't take some of the content from that, and so I'd kind of miss out on something, and I felt that I would have to go out and get it anyways, right? So,
well, that's what that HBO Max is going to be based on the Batman, right?
Yeah, it's in the Batman universe. Yes, both of those shows, the Penguin and then the Arkham Asylum one.
Okay. Dang, the Penguin. I kind of want to check out those Penguin ones though. Don't hold me to it, but
bro, you have to.
I know.
You have to, especially if you watched and enjoyed the movie. Like me and Danielle, we watched the Batman like another time, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Oh, it's just as good. That chase scene, I might
have to try to do that one. The Batman. When's Arkham coming out?
I don't know. I know the Penguin will be coming out first, though. I'm hearing more news on that one.
But is it like from the same people that kind of worked on the movie, or no?
You know what? I can neither confirm nor deny.
But if it's got like that darkish, like, man, I want that.
Yes, it probably will. I mean, it's Colin Farrell is going to be Penguin in the show, so it's not like it's a different actor.
And then I mean, I'm really liking Cobblepot this past fiscal
Yeah,
year,
right?
man. Because to tell you the truth, it's just with that one bad day, that was probably my favorite one bad day so
Right.
far. And just Cobblepot's been great. So now that they're building on his character, the once little fat man that used to scare me in 1989 when I used to see his
Just
little
hold,
ass floating
just
in the
gotta hold your
river.
nose every time you see him. Oh, that was one of the
Ah,
scariest parts of like any movie that I was allowed to watch back in the day. Oh,
DeVito did a great job though
yeah.
on that movie. So,
You know what?
but no, man.
Something that would change or reaffirm your opinion on him is how you see his character in Gotham, the show. That show on Fox that went like 4, 5, or 6 seasons or something when he was younger.
Colin Farrell.
No, no, no.
Oh, DeVito.
No,
Wait.
the Penguin. It was a different actor. It was the show. It was the show
Oh.
Gotham. It was like when Bruce Wayne was a little kid, and it's centered around James Gordon just arriving to GCPD. So like Catwoman's a little girl, and then the Riddler he works at the police department before he becomes a Riddler. Before and then Oswald Cobblepot is before he becomes the Penguin. Right? It's cool. It's cool. It's
How,
early on.
let me ask you a question, Mike, because you got some of those like spin-off stories that would be on like CW or
Right.
whatever. Do you think that this Tom King, this Gotham City Year One, would be kind of a cool like Gotham story to have out there? I mean, not that it would probably ever be out there, but I think this book, it got real good in this issue we'll talk about,
Right.
right? Issue 5.
Like
And it's just, I feel like that would be a good like spin-off type of back Gotham story that would be kind of
just
crazy. I
imagine
mean,
if whether it's animated or live action, just imagine a Gotham City Year One, but like in a noir style setting, like in
oh,
LA. Like imagine Gotham City Year One, but like in at like LA Confidential back in like the late '80s, early '90s, like just that kind of feel,
yes,
where like even the first two Batmans, kind of like that noir type of feel, right? Man, that would be pretty dope. Kind of like old
definitely.
school, like Roger Rabbit, where you get that noir feeling when you're in the back alleys and he's trying to get, into the club, and that gorilla, what's the password? What does he say? Walt sent me. That was funny. Like Walt Disney. What's the password? He goes, nice monkey suit.
Uh,
Wise ass. To the
yeah.
big old gorilla. Oh, I love that movie. I used to watch that movie. You know what? Funny story. That was the movie where I got my first curse word. Because you know how when Roger Rabbit, when he would drink alcohol, he would go freaking crazy, right? Just take a shot of whatever. And
It's a trippy
right,
movie.
and then when he would, there's the one where he's in the office, right, of the movie producer or the guy who owns the studio. He's in his office, all the windows broken, papers are flying all over the place. And when he finally calms down, the main guy, Eddie Valiant's like, son of a bitch, right? So there's one day, I think I was like 2 or 3 years old, and I had like my food on my high chair, and it was a whole family function thing. So it was at my mom's side of the family, and I spill a whole bowl of Cheerios, dried Cheerios on the floor. I look over the
Oh,
side of the thing, and I just said, son of a bitch. And then
dang.
like everyone is hysterically laughing, and then everyone just is a beeline, like their eyes go straight to my dad because they think he was probably the one who said something, and I was repeating him. It's just a funny,
That's
just
hilarious. How old were you?
I think I was like 3 or 4, like just starting to like talk, and
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, I was super young. Yeah, I wasn't like 6, 7, 8 years old. Yeah, it was like when you're
Oh,
first
that's
starting to put together
hilarious.
words, like in order and like sentences and stuff. Yeah. All right.
Dang, so those were some of the first words out of your
Right,
mouth,
son of a
huh?
bitch.
Nice, nice. I wish I would have known that.
Right.
That would have explained a lot of the good times at the A's games and a lot of
Right. Exactly. All right. Let's get into some of the books that we read. I'm just gonna kind of go down the line. There's a lot of these
Yeah,
these
man.
ones that like I don't need to get too into. Like, but man, this is scaring me because this DC universe, the Lazarus Planet, this whole big old event. I'm like, well, go ahead.
No, never mind. I'll talk about it at the end of the
Okay.
books. It was just a book that was coming up.
Oh, okay. I'm liking all these one shots because it's redefining some characters because this rain from the Lazarus pit that's raining on people, that's giving them powers, or it's messing with their magic, their powers. So some of these just one shots where it's like this one right here where I get 4 or 5 little different stories, but it's scaring me because I'm interested in a lot of these stories. And I hope that in like 6 months, all of these small stories become their own series. I'm like, oh God, take my money. I'm just afraid of that one. But this one right here, Next Evolution was also a good one. Alien #6, another Philip Kennedy Johnson. This was the final issue of this 6-issue arc. More is coming, I think, in a few months. Another great one. Yeah, I'll take a little break from talking. Go ahead, and anything that you liked that doesn't really need too much of a deep dive.
Actually,
Jesus, dude.
I wanted to talk about this
one second. Every single one of these freaking books, I can justify a deep dive. God damn it.
Yeah, I know. I had some good books also.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to, real quick though, before I talk about a book, I just wanted to mention that Superman #1. And you said that we should all get it, dude. Man, I don't know if I might have to pass on that one. I know it's a Superman, it's a #1, but maybe just pick it up. But dude, the story, you know who's writing it, right?
I know
who's writing.
I know it's Josh Williamson.
You know who's writing it.
But like,
you know who's writing it.
But like at the beginning of this Dawn of DC thing, this is like one of the ones that we needed to. Like they said that Action Comics 1050 was one, and then this is the next one that would, like, if you want to kind of get in with this new Dawn of DC, you got to get this one. And I always tell myself,
I'll get it. I'll have to try it out. But just Williamson just doesn't do it for me most of the time. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man, and then you have 3 of them next month. You have Adventures of Superman, John Kent #1, Unstoppable Doom Patrol. Ooh, Doom Patrol? I've never read anything Doom Patrol. I'm excited because I love the show. And then Harley Quinn #28 is a part of this Dawn of DC. So.
Oh really?
Yep.
I'll be getting that.
Yeah, you already get that. So, sorry. Continue, sir.
Nah, man. What do you want to talk about? You want to get into this Flash? Or
yeah,
what?
I actually had it on top. And I think we both agreed that the Flash 792, which I read after, because it obviously came after, the 1 Minute War special, was better. Because sometimes you think that, this one-off, these ones are really good, or they put really a lot of their some oomph into these specials, but it didn't do it for me as much as 792 did.
This is the one time that I feel like the one. I mean, they did explain, like, what do they call the faction or whatever.
Very true.
They come in, and so there was kind of like a backstory behind them and what was going on. But I don't know. It's just they had like those mini stories, right? Or like 3 different stories, I believe, or the past, the present, the future, and it's like, or like what's gonna happen, or. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, definitely 792 was a lot better in my opinion, with the kids having to go steal like that tank or whatever.
Yeah, and they found the kid in there. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, that's right. On the alarm or whatever.
Yeah, and then they open up that tank and they find who's that? Like Gorilla Grodd, Superman, and somebody else in there. Adam.
What's up with all these characters trying to look like the Batman or what's his name? The
Batman Who Laughs?
Batman Who Laughs. Yeah, with all those like spikes. You know, remember the Harley Quinn had the same type of character.
Yeah, because you would have thought that they would have given some kind of an explanation if they were to bring any kind of Batman Who Laughs variant out, because she even has the 2 like dog-like things on leashes, just like the Robins. So yeah, it's kind of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kind of weird. It's kind of weird how they didn't give that backstory. It was just, oh yeah, she's just a hunter and she always gets what she hunts for. She always finds her prey or whatever. Like, okay.
So, and you're telling me that this is going to be one arc, this whole faction or whatever?
I mean, I hope. I mean, I told you. Remember, I went ahead, or no, was it? I went ahead on League of Comic Geeks, or it was in the most recent DC previews. There's another 1 Minute War special, and I'm like, dude.
Yo, yes,
but like this is for like May. I'm like, how long is this gonna, how long is this gonna last?
But that's what I was gonna say. I don't feel like they were gonna introduce this whole faction and whatnot if they were just gonna end it after 6 issues. In my opinion, I think that they were planning on trying to go a little bit longer with it. And you're right. When I saw that 1 Minute War #2, I was like, man, I think it's gonna last a little bit longer than we think. But I mean, it's all right.
Oh my God.
I like how they got like the whole Flash family kind of being incorporated, and we're yet to find out with Iris and what's going on with her, because obviously I don't believe she's gone or whatever. Maybe in this she passed out from the 1 minute being so fast or whatnot. Right. But
What I
That's
just
all.
realized is that I accidentally flipped a page. I flipped 2 pages during this 1 minute war special during like towards the end of the book. I didn't even see the panel with Godspeed. I didn't see the return of Godspeed towards the end of this. How he was the one killing off those, the Theta squads. I did not know that. That's why I was confused. I was like, yeah, there's some guy with a bloody knife, and all of a sudden it goes back to one of the Flash characters.
But it's like the future. Is that the future one with
It was
Godspeed?
right before. No, that was, or it might have been. It was the end of that little story, and then
It was the end.
and
of
then the future
then
starts. So I was like, what the
future.
hell? That's why I was confused, because I swear I can explain why 2 pages were stuck together in my comic book. I swear I can explain.
Really, you missed.
It's not what you think it is.
That'll do it. But that's kind of important pages.
I know,
Mike.
right? I swear I wasn't that excited. But yeah, but 792 was good too. Definitely enjoying. Definitely, this is one of the ones where I'm like in the middle. It's not one of the story arcs, kind of like the Dark Web, where I'm like, all right, I'm done with not just this arc, but this whole story. And it's not anything like, I can't think of any good, I can't think of any really solid event, right? Maybe like when I was first getting into it, and like this whole DC Rebirth was first starting, because I was first getting into comic books. So maybe that's like one of the ones I was most excited for. But ever since then, it's been kind of an annoyance just to have to get numerous issues. But this doesn't seem too bad.
And as much as I rag on him, but to bring him up again, Joshua Williamson, he was writing the Flash when we first started doing this podcast, I believe. And I mean, I'll admit that Flash was pretty decent. The year one and all that story.
He created Godspeed. He created Bloodwork. He created a lot of these characters that we already see in the Flash TV show. I mean, he did some great things in that first like year and a half, 2 years of being Flash, right? And then it's just
Maybe
they keep
stale. He's like DC's guy now. They keep putting him up in the ranks. Now he's going to be writing Superman here, but man, maybe Flash is his guy. Maybe they should just keep him on Flash.
Maybe. All right, what else you want to get into? Let's do it.
You want to get into Joker, Daredevil, whatever, man.
Sean's the one who gets the Deadly Duo, right?
Oh yeah. I have the Man Who Stopped Laughing.
So that one was pretty good.
That one was a trip, bro. So there's 3 Jokers from what I got out of it at the end.
Right,
at the very end.
It's sort of confusing there.
Right. So the Joker's like on the beach. So it seems like the Joker hired another Joker to go put up with the guy that's trying to act like Joker, but maybe is Joker having both of them fight against each other? Maybe
well,
so
one
he
of them
can.
was Clayface.
That's right.
So there are still 2 Jokers, but that's what I always, because remember that DC Black Label one? I think it was, what's his name, Jeff Johns, the 3 Jokers. Remember that story a couple years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap, are they bringing the 3 Jokers back? But I was like, no, it's Matt Rosenberg who's writing this. It's not Jeff Johns. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But I like it.
Yeah, and then this actually was a pretty good issue. And then you have Red Hood shooting down, and then they see the Clay at the bottom, Clayface with obviously you get the night. Look, Mike, you get the advertisement for the Clayface One Bad Day right next to it, perfectly placed there for marketing reasons. But yeah, man, just I'm enjoying it. It started off kind of slow. I didn't think it was going to be as good as the other one, but this one, with the whole confusion you got with how many Jokers there really are and which one's which at half the time, because sometimes you don't know, right? You're reading, you're like, which one do you think this really is? So it plays like that mind trick on you, and you really don't know during this whole issue that you're reading it. But then when you get to the very end, you're like, oh, holy shit, that wasn't even the real Joker on either of them, right? So it's like, you son of a damn.
So I mean, like, yeah, because the real Joker has to be the one on the beach, right? Because the one that we've been kind of following and stuff, like, who the hell is that guy? Because he even like kind of gently put that old woman to sleep at the end of that other issue, like 1 or 2 issues ago. So I was like, who is this guy?
You'd like that.
I know, I did, like with all the kids and stuff.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But
So yeah, Joker's been real good. I'd pick it up as a trade if you guys are into, Joker's my guy.
Right.
So, but obviously that other one, it was more based around, or the first Joker that we got on these like series, it was more based around
Jim Gordon.
Gordon,
Hmm.
right? So that was really
Yeah,
good. This one's more, it's not just based on Joker, but the Joker.
right.
So it's
Definitely. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go to Daredevil. Did you time yourself on this one, buddy?
yeah. I mean, it wasn't as short as I thought it was going to be, but
Yeah.
why? You thought you got through it pretty
I
quick, or
did. I
what?
did. There was a lot of these big panels that involve the dragon. So
The
not a lot of
dragon.
dialogue or even the monologue from Elektra or Punisher or Cage or Daredevil, Matt Murdock. But I just love the artwork in this beautiful artwork of all the undead soldiers that are either they either have a human face with red eyes just like the Punisher, or they're just a skeleton, right? They're just zombies. It's pretty cool. And of course the dragon. It's really good artwork in this one, more than the story. I was kind of upset that I didn't get a lot of dialogue, and of course they keep teasing the Avengers at the end, and they bring in Peter Parker Spider-Man to boot, and I'm like, well, when the hell are they going to involve this? Like, I've been waiting for the collision course that is the Daredevil and Punisher, and now I want them to also involve the Avengers. Like, bring it on. Like two factions of good guys, essentially, Punisher and Daredevil. Do they maybe team up in the fight against the Avengers because they think both of them are criminals and both of them need to be brought in because they're kind of doing surveillance on this whole war that's going on. So it's going to be very interesting going forward. I hope it doesn't kind of branch off into a huge event where I have to start getting 18,000 different books, but we'll have to wait and see.
But I mean, I gave up 3 Marvel books
Oh, there you
recently,
go.
so if I can get
You could pick
something,
it,
if I can
you
get,
can pick it back up.
if I could get something a little bit, better in the Marvel world, in this realm, in this universe of this story going right now with Daredevil, man, I'd be all for it. But it seems like, the Avengers here, they're looking more towards, like Matt Murdock being a bad guy. They don't like how he got these people out of that prison,
Right.
and
It's true.
like everyone seems to be turning on him, but he's staying true to himself. And I really like the character that that he is, and that how Chip's writing him and everything. It's just kind of makes you think about like how I just like how he's like he's very true to himself, that character, right? Obviously he's blind and just he uses his senses, and he just has to pretty much go off senses. So the inner dialogue, like you said, Mike, and it's just I really enjoy like reading this character, first time reading him. But I don't know if it's like this in other stories, but this one's, man, sure damn good. So
Man, you would.
I like to see
I'm
where
telling you, you would love that Netflix series. There's like 3 seasons of Daredevil. Awesome. And then
And then they had they had that movie, right? Like way back
they had
in
the
day
Ben
with
Affleck.
Ben
Yeah,
Affleck or something.
they had that movie, but if you really want to get into the future of what Daredevil is going to be in the MCU, you pick up Charlie Cox's Daredevil, the TV show, because that actor is coming back and returning to play Matt Murdock Daredevil in now the MCU, because the whole Netflix thing was a side thing. It wasn't an MCU thing. You had Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Punisher, even, the guy who played what's his name? The guy who played the in Walking Dead. I don't know if you watch Walking Dead, but anyways, and then they had then they came together for one season of the Defenders. That was a whole separate thing from the MCU. And now that the contract is up, now Disney/Marvel owns all that, content and all that, canon. And now they're bringing Charlie Cox back into this new MCU, which he was featured in the She-Hulk series. Now, we'll see what the future holds for him. That's weird. I stopped after like episode 3, and I think episode 4 is when Charlie Cox is revealed again in She-Hulk. I'm like, why did I freaking stop watching it? I think that's right around the time when Last of Us started. And
I mean, spring 2024 here, we're gonna get Daredevil on Disney Plus. So 18 episodes,
a long show.
Born Again.
Hell yeah.
So that might be something that, if I keep continuing, I mean, maybe is that why they got Chip writing the series so early, like as a precursor to the show they're going to put out, Born Again?
Maybe.
I don't know if you think, do we know what the plot's going to be about
No,
here?
not sure what Kevin Feige and team, and company have in store. Not sure.
definitely.
So, if we're going to do the last three books that I have here, I would say if we're going to go from least to best, I would probably say we're starting with Batman 132, in my opinion.
There it
So,
is.
Batman 132, and it's not saying that it's the worst. I love this arc. I love this alternate little universe that he was in after Failsafe. Like, they're trying to figure it out. And then, of course, I'm getting my money's worth with Batman again, because not only do we have this story, but unlike Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, that side story has nothing to do with the main story. But in Batman's case, the side story with Robin, Nightwing, and everything, that actually has something to do with what happened to Bruce. Failsafe, they're trying to figure it out and see where he went to. So I'm loving this story so far. What about you?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's different. I like the interaction that he's having with all of his, Gotham peers, if you
Right.
will. Like he's like talking to himself, like, "Oh, remember, it's not your Selena, but it's us Selena," and
Yeah.
it's like he doesn't know whether to like trust these people or or who the hell they are. But it's really different. You see that scene obviously with Alfred and just it's trippy to me, right? Because I thought it was gonna, when I was reading it, I thought it was gonna go like a separate direction, but now I'm kind of more confused, if you will. I really like the way it ended. Obviously, that last page with Metamorphosis, and it's like you got the Bones guy that disappears, right? That's the Jim Gordon,
Right.
And we like, is he talking about it? And the kid tries to give him the pills, like, here's the
For
pills
the
or something.
hallucinations, yeah, because they're just draping the whole city of Gotham in this kind of this fog that if you breathe it in, it's going to kind of enhance all these hallucinations. And then one sign of crazy, you go to Arkham and you don't come back. Like what?
But if you have those pills, it's like a special place where they're developing him, and like Batman is looking for Halliday or Roy Halladay to try to get like this.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I know, right? He's trying to get like some type of intel because he feels like this guy that's making these pills is pretty much like the richest guy in this Gotham universe here, like the Bruce Wayne Enterprises, right, of this universe. So he thinks that he's got like a special way to get him back to, his universe because he's got all the money. And so he goes on a mission to try to find him, right?
Sir. And who's the Halliday of this universe? Looks like the damn Joker. Because he's like,
that's
that
right.
smile. Like going back,
and then what
flipping
about
through these pages, I'm like, dude, this was actually a really good issue. Because then you have like that universe's punchline and everything.
She
looks
bulkier
chick. She looks like
a
China.
UFC.
She looks like China.
Yeah, exactly. Zingano or something, dude. She's
and
big.
Then Killer
but...
Croc, some like cabbie, some guy.
So they're bringing them all out, man. But yeah, it's a trip. I mean,
and then you have what's up with that red mask, where like Harvey Dent pretty much works for him, and then he pushes a button as if it's the movie Batman and Robin, and all of his venom goes away, and he goes in some skinny little like twerp.
That was
like,
a
what
trip.
the hell? He goes, I gave this to you. I can easily take it away. Like that was crazy.
He gets no muscle. He gets completely deflated.
That's how good these authors and these artists kind of put these books together. They created a new universe because he was sent there, and they're having different storylines within the brand new universe. Like what the hell? He's trying to find this Halliday Industries, and there's this whole thing with the red mask. Like so many different things are happening, and it's not even the real Gotham City. This is all like either in his head or it's just he was sent to a new universe. It's crazy. And
is this gonna be one arc?
I think so. I think in the next issue or two, they're going to figure out how to get him back, right? So.
No, because he's metamorphosed. He's going to become the Batman of this universe to help him out. Remember? He's helping out that.
At least until they find, what he needs from the Halliday, right? So.
I just find it so amazing. I think that these like arcs get started and it's like, I feel like they can do like a longer storyline, but for some reason they don't. They keep switching. I don't know.
I mean, because if it's a good enough story, I think that they can go 12 issues, kind of like a maxi series.
Shit, go 18. Right? Just keep running with it.
Because then you have the side story of this. Where the hell did Mr. Terrific send Tim Drake? They sent him they tried to send him to the universe where Bruce is, and all of a sudden, okay, cool, freaking Toyman is mentally in charge of all these people. Like has control of them. It's freaking crazy. because Failsafe did send not just Bruce Wayne to this other place, but you see all those people kind of chained up, like, please don't hurt us. And then Toyman's like in charge of everything. So it's pretty trippy.
It seems like the writers, when they write the main story and the backstory, like Zardasky's doing in both of them, there's more continuity to both of the stories. Right. Sometimes, like you mentioned, Mike, sometimes they seem like you really have to read them, and sometimes it seems like they're nothing. So just
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like how we get a lot of Catwoman to talk about, because it's like on the cover of that we got Catwoman, then we got the One Bad Day.
So which one you want to hit first? You want to do One Bad Day, or want to do Gotham City Year One?
We can hit Gotham City real quick. We're all
this was like the huge unveiling issue number 5.
So did we kind of had a feeling,
right. It was someone in power, someone who with a lot of money, someone who's trying to protect or hide something, and then we figure out the whole issue. You're thinking it's Mr. Wayne, but no.
Yes,
it's Mrs. Wayne. Pretty crazy. This whole story of, and I just love these issues. Like sometimes you or Sean kind of complain about that the monologue thing of someone telling a story, but man, I loved it. I loved her telling the story of how like everything happened, like from issue number 1 up until now, how shit went down. It was pretty cool. Kind of like, and then in between the pages, right? Like what we didn't see in the first 4 issues, this is how it all went down. Everything down to her having to pull over and throw up because she heard that the baby had died. Pretty crazy. Right. And then obviously the issue ends with what's his name? Slam. Slam. He's back to Wayne Manor to talk to Mrs. Wayne about, killing her own freaking daughter. And I think this was a 6-issue miniseries, so this will be the end, I believe. I don't think it's 8. I think it was a 6-issue miniseries. I can actually look.
Yeah. I think it is 6.
It feels like it's 6.
But this is 5, so we got one more to go.
One more to go. I think usually when it's 6, it says, to be concluded at the very bottom right corner of that last page. To be concluded. So issue 6 next month in March is be the end of Gotham City Year 1. This is one of the ones where it wasn't as anticipated from previews, but this has totally surprised me in a good way. Like, because usually this has taken me for a ride that I didn't know that I thought this was gonna be very average at best, and this is turning into one of my top pickups of the month for the last 5 months.
I've been telling you that though. Didn't I say like on 3 and 4? I'm like, dude, these books are pretty good, man. And like you said, obviously, I think we picked this one over like that GCPD, the one we were talking about, right? So. I mean, the Tom King is just all that you almost have to. It's
just, like Tynion. There's a few like Chip Zdarsky, Tynion, Tom King. There's a few guys out there, and hell, I wouldn't put them up in that higher echelon, but all 3 stories that I'm currently reading from Philip Kennedy Johnson are fine. To me, they're good.
Oh yeah. Where's Bendis been at, man?
He's doing like indie stuff? I think. I see his name come. I see his name come up. I think in a few. I think either Dark Horse or Image or something. He's doing more indie stuff right now.
He seemed like he was the man when we first started this podcast.
He's been around a long time though, so maybe he's kind of dialing it back.
Could be, since the pandemic and all that as well kind of shifted everything.
There's probably a story that we just don't know, right? There's that it's out there. We just never took the chance took the time to look it up. He could be doing movies or TV or something, right? Or more indie stuff, or even, I'm on my way to retire, so I don't know. But anyways, last one, Batman One Bad Day, Catwoman, and then in 2 weeks we'll of course get into the Clayface one. But I loved it. I finally was able to get it. I was actually surprised because he didn't tell me via email when I sent my list that he was sending me this. I'm like, oh shit. So it was a pleasant surprise to get this one. But another story, it wasn't one of the few that we got that had like small stories. It was one long story, and it was really, really good.
It was really, really good. You talk about the inner dialogue. I really like, I love these Selena Kyle like dialogues. Right. How she just is, it's like really her life. Basically, the story just starting off is her mom getting just duped out at the pawn shop for, some like brooch that was whatever the brooch is. It's like a
Yeah,
pendant,
it's yeah,
right?
and you know what? It's weird because, and I only know this from like watching a show back in the day. I think it's pronounced brooch. Like you would think,
Brooch, a
like you would think it
brooch.
would be spelled Broach, but it's two O's.
And then basically, yeah, so her mom sells it for $200. Come to find out, she actually got duped. That's what I love about it,
Right.
because Selena Kyle getting
Nice
duped
twist
because
there.
she goes to. So I mean, the late I don't know. Is it was that lady? Is she the one that makes it that high price value, or was it really that high of price value? She just switched it out with a fake one.
Right. She probably does the same thing Selena does. Like she kind of scopes out what's going to be at this auction, and then she switches it out
Hmm.
for a fake one. So yeah, so she probably owns it, right? And she'll get, and or you know what? No, because they said that she's not going to get anything out of it, right? I think she just steals the real one, right? And then they pay the money. It's not like they pay any of the proceeds. She just gets the actual brooch, right?
Yeah, so Selena tries to steal it pretty much, and she was noticing all these, like mannerisms that the lady had,
Right.
which was weird because at the end we find out that she was pretty strong, like kicking Selena's ass
I thought
after
I thought this
Bruce
was
told her like it's gonna
yeah.
be.
I thought this was going to be another
Bruce
appearance
was
of
like, it's gonna be
Clayface.
one bad day for you, and she's like, no, I'm gonna go anyway. They both like Bruce ended up looking for her as well because Bruce tells the story of how she's going into all these museums and like auction shows and pretty
Yep.
much replacing like high priced items with fake ones. And so pretty much like doing something Selena would do, but doing it better than her, right?
Right.
Older woman, wiser. Selena's like, man, she changed her hair. She even changed the way
She
she
walked.
walks. She's
Yeah.
good. And I admire her for that. And like Selena, like almost like, it's like that tension because like she's like, man, someone could be better than me, but yeah, dude. I mean, this story was real good, and just at the end, she gets her ass kicked
Yeah.
by this
I was
older
like
woman,
I
which
was
is
like
a
this
trip.
frail old granny, she's kicking her ass. I thought this was another appearance of Clayface. I was like, this cannot be a real old lady.
Well, I thought the lady was gonna take off a mask at the end,
Yeah,
right? Kind of
but
like
no, she must be some
Miss
freaking
Doubtfire
yeah,
type
she must be
thing.
some League of Shadows who still has it even in her old age of in the 60s or 70s or whatever, you know?
And I didn't know Selena had a sister, right? So she's like calls her sister working at the
Right.
grocery
I don't,
store.
and you know what?
The one
I
thing that
never
I
knew that in the past. I don't know if it was written into just kind of for
yeah.
something into the story. I actually don't know off the top of my head that if she actually like future and past canon from the beginning if she has a sister. I don't know. I can't confirm that.
And sometimes we forget to give a shout out to like the writers of these books, but it's by
Willow
G.
Wilson.
Willow Wilson and Jaime McKelvey.
Yeah,
But
love the way he
this
drew. Or if that's who the he or she, it's Jamie or Jaime or whatever. If this is the person who was drawing Selena, awesome. One of the best drawn Selena Kyle Catwomans in a long time.
and did you see how like a lot of messages in this book? Did you see when she calls the sister and the sister's the checker at the grocery
Right.
line and she tells the customer the price and the customer's like pissed off. Well, one because she's on the phone, but the price was like so expensive, kind of like today the inflation with the prices a little bag for $57.
Right.
I thought that was funny. And when in the beginning when Selena goes out, like when she's first walking out on the town before she even goes and does her heist, housing is a human right on like the political signs and all that. So kind of like a lot of like with the time type of incidents or type in this book that I really realized. Got that inflation one, and then there was like another one too. I'm kind of flipping through it right here to see if I remember it, but there was like a couple of them.
I think G. Willow Wilson. I think if I'm not mistaken, nobody kill me over this if I'm wrong, but I think G. Willow Wilson. I think she's the author of the Captain Marvel, kind of like the the Captain Marvel that you see in the MCU. It's kind of based off of her writing, like
Oh,
her story.
really?
Yeah, like her her version of Carol Danvers is the one that we see on the big screen. I think that's what that is. So, but all in all, good books. I know we didn't want to spend too much time, but hell,
But we did. Yeah, we spent a while,
we
but
did.
so
Yeah,
many.
but you know what? We know that going into these things that we don't have a lot of sports, we don't have a lot of news and stuff. I just love talking books. Like at the end, like I remember when we were talking about it when we were have an hour and 45-minute episodes, and we were like, dude, we got to calm it down on the comics. Sometimes no, man. Sometimes the only reason why I leave the comic book store on a Wednesday when I actually drive in there is because I have the kids, right? Like I have my son who needs to, go down for a nap. If I was just by myself, man, oh man, I could spend hours there talking about these books. There's no limit.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of hours in there before,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of before the pandemic, and now I'm a little bit farther, so sometimes it's harder to spend more time
True.
in there. But I've spent a couple hours in there at a time with Alex discussing some books, and getting me a little bit of knowledge because he's full of it, right? And
course.
just especially in the beginning of this podcast, not that I'm an encyclopedia filled with comic knowledge, but just
you were like a sponge,
learned
right?
a lot from being. Hey, you learn a lot from just hanging out at the shop. It's like being at the barber shop,
Right.
huh?
Absolutely. So a couple pieces of news. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania opening weekend in the box office, $104 million, which is good for first all-time as far as those three movies. So it had a better opening weekend than Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. On that note, Avatar: Way of the Water gets another $6.4 million at the box office, crosses the $2.2433 billion mark, passing Titanic for third all-time at the box office. So
Unbelievable.
crazy.
And tell them what movie came in third in last weekend's box office, Mikey.
Oh, I saw it too. God dang it! What was it? Was it
Come
Puss?
on,
Was it Puss in
Mike.
Boots?
Oh, that was
Oh,
fourth.
dang it! What was third?
Give me third.
I don't know. I had the article up, but but usually I don't like to keep my.
Your name's in the title.
Oh
actually.
God, is it the new Magic Mike? Last Dance or whatever. Oh God, hell no.
Come on, man. You remember when the first one came out?
I remember it, but I didn't go and see it.
Oh, man, I went first night,
No,
bro.
you didn't.
I don't know what you talking about. I know.
That's
There's
so funny.
very few movies I've ever seen on the first night, and Mystical Magic Mike would not be one of them.
I know, right? I was
But,
afraid. I was like, really? I mean, if the wife drug you or whatever, if it was like, I don't know, her birthday or Valentine's Day where it was like, no, whatever you want to do, fine, then I get it. But anything else?
We were supposed to have our comic booky like movie nights together.
Right.
Now we all like live like in different directions from each other, and just life could change in so many different directions,
I know, right?
if you will, in such a snap of a
finger.
finger.
Sean did confirm that he watched episode 5 of Last of Us. Obviously, he's not here, so I won't dive too deep into it.
He's the last of us. That's not
Yeah,
here.
exactly,
I mean,
exactly. So, but I will be watching episode 6 tomorrow. So whatever he watches over the next 2 weeks, we'll get into for sure. Confirmed that in the year 2023, it's already February, it's only February, but Loki and Secret Invasion will be the only two shows that come on Disney Plus in the MCU, which is kind of a good thing to me. I don't want a kind of an overload thing where as soon as one 8 episode show ends, got to pick up another one. I like, hey, give me something in the first half of the year, something in the second half of the year,
I wouldn't be surprised if Disney actually scales back or announces some of these shows won't be completed.
They've already
because
delayed Captain Marvel, the Marvels or whatever, to like November of 2023. They've already delayed that one. Forgot to mention that.
A lot of they're not, they are kind of a tech company in a way. They're an everything
Well, they just
company,
laid off
really,
7,000
right?
people, so they're getting 7,000 people's worth of work done, not done. So
They're entertainment tech company. They do it all, and just they're gonna have to do some cost cutting as well. Mr. Iger back at the helm,
Right.
so just I wouldn't be surprised because they announced so much, right? I feel like during the pandemic, and I mean coming out of it, really like at all these Comic Cons, San Diego Comic Con to be exact, really when they do all their announcements, and it's just like we couldn't get enough. I mean, you can go back and look at some of our prior.
They have two of them. They have Comic-Con and they have the D23, like where it's like
That's
Disney,
right.
but they're Disney, so they do the same damn thing. It's like they
I know,
save
right?
it. It's like, oh, here's a little bit of a tickle of your pickle here for San Diego Comic Con, but then you got to get tickets to D23 to get something else.
I think we might have even done a podcast dedicated to that
Yeah.
D23
Yeah,
event.
like Sean
We,
had
you and
Sean had
Sean,
Star
right?
Wars, I had
Yeah,
MCU or Disney, and then you had Disney
that's
stuff,
right.
right? It was like everyone
That's
was
right.
assigned a certain a certain
That's right.
sector of, as you will, if you will, of the Disney company. But yeah, crazy. And then on the other side, my last piece of news, Mark. This tickled my pickle, immensely. This will stick my pages
Jeez.
together for sure. James Gunn teases 5 in a list of 10 DC characters who may possibly join the DCU. Now I'm going to kind of take snippets and kind of read from this article from IGN. It's by Adam Bankhurst to give where credits due. DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn has responded to the results of IGN's DCU Face-Off, teasing that 5 of the top 10 most requested DC characters to join DCU in IGN's audience may possibly be the ones to become part of the connected universe next. So then he went to his Instagram story and he kind of rated, the top 10. So we're thinking at least 5 of these characters are going to somehow make their way into the DCU this year, next year, 2025, so on and so forth. So top 1, it was Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing. Coming in at number 2, we have Martian Manhunter. Then Lobo, he's one of my favorite kind of like villain anti-hero characters. Brainiac, one of the biggest villains of Superman. Deathstroke, even though we've seen him in Titans, he'd be a good addition to the DCU. Jason Todd, aka Robin or Red Hood. Zatanna, get a little bit of magic in there. The Court of Owls, Mr. Freeze, and John Constantine. So we're thinking at least 5 of those characters are for sure going to be, in there, because he then posted like, oh, well, 5 of 10 do,
Dang,
right? So
DC's really going for the jugular,
right. So
huh?
Going further into the article, they kind of explain each one. So we already know that Keanu Reeves is coming back for John Constantine 2, right? He had the Constantine movie way back in the day. He's coming back for number 2, and have already been reports where Jason Momoa is highly interested in becoming the bounty hunter Lobo, and then someone else would take the helm of Aquaman. Quote from the article, it has also been confirmed that other members of the Bat family will be part of Batman, the Brave and the Bold. So that could be perfect entry point for Nightwing, and Red Hood. Gunn's co-CEO Peter Safran says, quote, just because we feel like they've been left out of the Batman stories in the theater for far too long. Of course, Martian Manhunter made an appearance in the Snyder Cut of Justice League, and he's also been an ongoing character in the Supergirl story, so that's that'd be a good thing. And then Brainiac also is one of Superman's greatest villains. The movie, he could be the main antagonist for Superman Legacy, which will be released in theaters on July 11th, 2025, to kick off Chapter 1 of the new DCU titled Gods and Monsters. So it goes on to the other characters in that list and kind of explaining why, where we've seen them and how they could kind of be, integrated into the DCU. But I'm thoroughly excited about this.
Dude, I just sorry. I was just reading something as you were saying that, but John Constantine, I'm not too familiar with him, but dude, he's from Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Remember that
created by Alan Moore as
right.
well. Must be.
Remember
dude,
when I was reading the Black Label book? It was one of the prestige ones. It was a 3-issue, and it was a Constantine book, right? And I opened it, and I sent you a picture of it, and like someone was like talking about how they put money on the Liverpool, on the Reds or whatever, and they were watching the Liverpool game on the TV in a bar. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's been an ongoing character. He actually had a show on NBC for like 1 season. It was called Constantine, and then it was canceled, and then that same guy reappeared in the show Legends of Tomorrow for a bunch of seasons before they just got canceled last year. So
how would he fit in the DCU, may I ask?
He's more in the magic realm. So if they wanted to do some kind of a dark Justice League, they would bring in a Swamp Thing, and then Zatanna, and then John Constantine. They could bring in those characters on that side to like, and then some of the stories with Justice League Dark has like all those people, and then Wonder Woman's in with them, or Batman's in with them, and they do a story with all the magic doers, and then one of the big Justice League guys are, pinned right in there with them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're man. Gunn's going for the jugular, man. They saw what Marvel did with all the Avengers, and the build up, and just man,
like what
Not saying they're going to do exactly what Marvel did with that, but man, they learned something from that.
Right.
But it seems like it's a harder environment to do it now, coming in this like post-pandemic, pre-recession type of inflationary environment that we're dealing with
I think
here.
it's so important for them to make a splash hit on that first movie or the first two movies, because then everything after that, people will have, even if it's not like, Endgame or like, The Dark Knight, it'll still make a lot of money and be looked at it as successful.
I think they've started in a way, even though it's not like the true DCU, but I think, they started in a way with pretty much, obviously we were huge, we were huge fanatics of wanting to see the Snyder Cut, probably.
Right.
A lot of not your average individual might have cared as much as like us comic book guys did, but with that coming out and with the the Joker and the Batman that we just had, and the HBO that they're going to be releasing with the Asylum and with the Penguin, it's just I feel like they're building up to like trying to be something great. Let's just hope that they can use the resources in the right way and put the right minds together to not only give us DC fans primarily, we're huge DC homers here, but not to just give us what we want, but to try to maybe steal a little bit of those from over in the fans in Marvel. Or at least, not just the fans from Marvel, but maybe just steal like the people that might not watch. I mean, read the books as much, but just care about the movies.
Right.
Maybe we could.
I mean, and I know there's thousands and thousands of these fans of the MCU who are just dying to see something of quality from DC, that they'd be happy to like go back over to DC, right? I know there's thousands of fans like that, like myself. Like I love the MCU. I love most everything about it, right? But I am just waiting for that one or two movies or a show or something that just blows people's minds from DC to be like, yes, now I'm all in on the DCU. I'm okay with having eras of greatness to where MCU still puts out good stuff, but man, everyone's on the Brave and the Bold. Everyone's on the Batman, stuff like that.
I think it can be a little bit more challenging for them as well, because DC stuff tends to be a little bit more for more mature adult audiences at times, if not. Well, yeah, but to try to get the whole, the kids and the younger generation into it, it might be a little bit tougher.
What's the percentage of kids that go see a Marvel movie though? Like if it's a packed theater, what's the percentage of like kids that are like 12 and under? I would say less than 50%. It's mostly adults. The majority, I believe, is adults.
The theater's not the only thing that brings money, man. The backpacks, the light-up shoes, of course. The lunch boxes.
Right. I think DC still makes money there, right? You have like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man are like the three most polarizing comic book characters still to this day, right? Everyone knows Superman, Batman, that's like the top three, right? And maybe Wolverine or maybe Iron Man nowadays, right? Or hell, maybe even Deadpool, right? So. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the comic books and the entertainment. It's a good thing we don't have much sports this week, because we went kind of long-winded for that this week. So, Mark, let's get into it, bro. Let's start it. The first week of reviewing a race. Daytona 500 is in the books. Small team. Former basketball player Brad Daugherty co-owns this team. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with the win for the bow ties for the Chevy in the Daytona 500. His first win, he breaks a 199 race winless streak. So that's pretty cool. He's usually the ones that I get pissed off on every Sunday for causing a wreck or for doing something stupid, right? But he finally gets a win. And I was like, I'm happy for the guy.
I mean,
right.
That's why he gets the win too, right? Because he goes for broke on these super speedways, and which one to be better to go broke for than the Daytona 500. So he's very aggressive on these tracks, these super speedways, and that's the way he likes to race. And man, he's won all of his races so far in the Cup Series on a plate track. So yeah. He's good there. I mean, he's definitely deserving. I'd say that.
In my very, very unprofessional opinion, though, like I texted you guys yesterday, or on Sunday when it happened, I said that's it for him. He better not hope that he has a bunch of shit races and then he falls out of the top 16 and there's more than 16 races, because he will find himself out of a playoff spot. I don't think he wins another race. I think he's out in the round of 16. After the round of 16. So. congratulations to him. And I don't want to like kind of rain on a parade, but I just think that's the reality of it all. Is that if all your wins are only on plate tracks, you're only going to get 4 chances at that. Well, and then if you want to kind of include Atlanta in there, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, he could win another plate track. He could. I mean, just I don't know. It's just a one-car operation, and it's kind of hard sometimes to expect too much from a one-car team when they're not getting information or passing notes back and forth or helping each other out with a different crew chief and a different driver. Just kind of sharing information, if you will. Obviously they have an alliance with somebody. I think they get their engines from Hendrick. I think they are running a Hendrick engine in there. But just longest 500 in history, which seems kind of weird because it actually seemed like the race was going by pretty fast.
I thought so
there were,
too.
no cautions in that
stage.
Is it
because of is it longest time-wise or lap-wise? Because I know...
Or lap-wise, 530 miles or something like that, they're saying. They might have
because of course, the overtime. Yeah, I don't know. It could have been long. It couldn't have been longest time ever because we had the jet dryer Montoya incident.
That's what I'm saying.
It couldn't have been longest time wise.
That was the weirdest day. What was that? 2012 when Kenseth ended up winning it, I believe.
That was so weird because it was such a one-off. I don't know what I was doing, but I ended up watching that race. I was like, dude, what the hell is this, right? And then they had to restart it the next day, right? Because they had to.
Well, no, because it rained. It rained on Sunday. So they were supposed to start it on Monday, like earlier in the day, but then it rained all day Monday. So they had to run it on like Monday night on prime time. And obviously football's over. It's like the week after football. Right. So people, there's no Monday night football, but yeah, Monday night Daytona under the lights. And then Juan Pablo Montoya hits the jet dryer, goes up and smokes. And they have to just
melting the track.
They had to take like an hour to repair the track. And it was like a red flag. And that's when they banned the drivers from taking their cell phones into the car. Remember Brad Keselowski had his cell phone in the car and took that famous picture from the cockpit. And then they said, "Oh, no more drivers can't bring their phones in the car anymore." But that was like a famous Daytona 500
That's what I'm saying. Like,
to me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was hearing things throughout the day Monday. I was like, oh, you know what? It's Monday. I'm not doing much. 2012. I was just coming home from work, right? I was at my parents' house, right? Just thought I'd watch a nice race, and oh my God, what the hell just happened? Things are on fire.
I need to give a couple guys some love, man. Travis Pastrana finishing just outside of top 10
dude.
In 11th, man. Guy that just came to run, never run this new car at all. Not really, just dude's an action junkie, right? And an adrenaline freak. So he comes in, he wheels that 2311, number 67 Toyota, the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Actually had one of those earlier. So, congratulations to Travis Pastrana for just being right outside the top 10 next to the number 15th Riley Herbst that I think caused the first caution of the race, right? And the number 15 Ford there spinning in the infield. But he comes across the line in a top 10 finish. What can you say to Team Penske, the number 12 Menards Ford for Ryan Blaney? Just after that dust up, that looked like it wasn't much.
How did that car get a top 10 finish?
Comes in number 8 with the face all frowning, but there it is. Cool. Another guy, big shout out. I'm actually send this out on Twitter on race day that if it wasn't for a Ford, my Team Penske, Joey Logano, or another Team Penske or a Ford team, that I'd like to see one of the California kids win it. He wasn't able to win it, but AJ Allmendinger, man, from Los Gatos, California, the Bay Area's own.
He was up front there towards the end too, like up there with running right behind Busch, and then he passed him at a certain point. Yeah, dude, that was cool.
Yeah. So that Chevrolet, that Colleague Racing Chevrolet, the number 16 Allmendinger, 6th place finish, which was good. Buescher, pushing his teammate. Man, those RFK cars are good on these tracks too.
They were 1-2 for a while. I was like, holy crap, is this gonna stay? I was like, I know it's not, but I'm like, this is crazy.
And another guy, what did I say in like the NASCAR preview show that we had, Mike? Watch out for Christopher Bell again this year,
Right.
man. There he
P3.
is, top 3 finish.
That's true.
So we get a Chevrolet, a Ford, and a Toyota, all 3 manufacturers on the podium for this Daytona 500. And man, I thought it was a good one, man. I didn't need all the crazy cautions in the beginning.
Right.
I mean, it was side by side racing, but it was tame, and I just I don't know. Maybe they learned a lot from the dual second year with this car under their belt, but I thought it was a pretty good race in my opinion, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so too. Obviously, not a huge fan of the race ending under caution.
All 3 of them, the truck.
Right. That's true.
The truck,
And then, of
the
course,
Xfinity,
Xfinity with the rain out, or the rain out was the truck, right?
Yeah, the finishing under caution just sucks so much because on a track that big, and there's like you still got like a mile and a half to race, and it's like
true.
you have to go the. Sucks,
I mean,
it is what it is.
I was pissed off too because technically, I was like when Larson crashed, I was like, oh cool, now he's finished his 30th. He was like he was in the front row with at the green white at the white flag or the green white checker at the beginning of overtime, and he ends up into the wall. But they put him at P18, so not the worst, right? So.
True.
Yeah.
And the winner of the truck race, Zane Smith, obviously on Friday night, shortened a little bit by rain, but he comes in 13th in that front row Ford, guy that I've been liking, another California kid.
Who was it? Who was the other driver that was just tweeting? And weren't we talking about it? Or you sent me a tweet saying that it was like a Mickey Mouse win for Daytona. There's another truck driver who posted a picture of like Mickey Mouse and like, oh hey, this is how the race went tonight. Like it was a Mickey Mouse freaking win.
No, it wouldn't. No, it was one of the truck drivers.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was, but they interviewed him, and it was before the race got called. He was like,
it was Mickey Mouse win to. Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was like,
that. I forget. But yeah, that was pretty funny. So, sir, you're going to your second race of the season. Technically, the first one that counts, but you're going to like your second race in the same same month, right? This is the.
And it kind of sucks how they do that in a way, because that West Coast swing, it's good for the teams, but for the people on the West Coast,
it's over and done with early.
It's over and done with. And then, I mean, if you're not in that, if you're in Southern California, it's a little bit easier to obviously make it to Fontana, Vegas, and Phoenix.
Very, very true.
But in Northern California, to try to get to those 3 races back to back to back weeks, it just doesn't make sense for a lot of people on the West Coast.
It feels like at least 2 flights, because you can get down to Fontana driving, but it feels like Vegas, the majority of the time you're flying. Like I don't love driving the 8 to 9 hours there, and of course Phoenix is like 12. So 2 out of those 3 you're gonna have to take a flight, right? Fontana's the easiest.
I feel like they should do like I don't know. They should probably at least split one of them up and put them closer to Sonoma date, maybe.
Right.
Or,
of course, because they get because the other
or do Sonoma and Fontana back to back or something, and then do Vegas and Phoenix on the same week in the beginning of the year. Yeah, I don't know. Just. I think it's going to get mixed up around a lot actually next year, because if Fontana's not going to have a race due to their reconfiguration, I think that LA's not going to have a race, right? They're not going to, unless they do something at some road course or something, but I don't see them having the Clash as like a points paying race down there in the Coliseum.
not.
And I don't think I'd want that either. Nope. Where the hell are they going to pit the cars? You can't even pit the cars in there, so it wouldn't make sense. So I don't know what are they going to do down in Southern California. So it might be a road course somewhere. So we'll see, man. To stay tuned. But yes, I am going to my next race, the Paula Casino 400 down there. By the way, great job of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles County greater area of promoting this track. It seems like when Sonoma has the races here in the summer, I don't really see. I could be not remembering right now, but I feel like maybe closer.
You have to go drive towards Sonoma,
towards
probably
the track, right? like out here, like in San Jose area, you know, you don't really see billboards up on A80, or you didn't. Maybe now that they got like these digital billboards, they might fill them in there or something. But man, I saw a lot of them in LA. I saw like at least 3 or 4 billboards promoting this race down there this weekend. So I'm excited to get there. I think it's going to be pretty damn close to sold out. Got my pit pass already. Obviously, if you're a AAA club member and you buy a ticket at a certain tier, you get a free pit pass.
Oof.
So that's going to be
So
fun.
jealous.
Usually the pits can be kind of, you know, packed, if you will.
Right.
But I think it's going to be really fun to just be in the pits the last time that they tear it down or whatever they're planning on
Right.
doing with it. But trying to run into some people, hopefully from Twitter that I've been interacting with lately on the gambling tip, and just maybe if Barstool guys they're there large and Spider,
Just
maybe
have to find
interact with them
some mountain
too.
and then
Just,
some little hobbit with right next to him.
yeah,
But
right.
they put out some good content, and they had a couple of their other faces of Barstool there with them, and they were just posting like throughout the week. It just looked like a really, really good time. Like not just, about the race, but other things that they were doing within the friendly confines of that middle, like it's damn near it looks like a city. Like they always have the graphic every year, like how many Martinsvilles and how many Bristols can they fit just in the infield of Daytona. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, man, my first race 2017 was down there. Kyle Larson, he won the race in the number 42 Chip Ganassi Target Chevy, and now he's at Hendrick. He won last year. He had to make a move to get around Suarez, actually, believe on the last lap. So, it's a good thing that he actually won that race, or the one at Sonoma, Suarez, because if that was his only shot, then Suarez would have been left out of the playoffs last year. But, yeah, I hope you can go down there and see another Larson win. Logano races well there. Busch races well there. It's going to be interesting to see because Busch, I think, has won there a few times. And, and he raced well for most of the race until he got, collected there. And then, of course, Truex always runs well. I don't know how he ran last year. Just think it was him and Larson for a couple of years back to back to back. I'm not sure how he did last year, but yeah, it should be a very interesting race.
I feel like Chase used to run pretty good there, but I feel like I need to see a little bit more from Chase,
Yeah,
man.
dude, he crashed. He had a DNF.
Is it just me, or has his demeanor been off a little bit? Since I don't know what it is. He just
Well, I mean, it's Daytona. He's not the center of attention, right? Bowman the Showman is, at least for the pole position, and then, of course Larson's in the front row. People are looking at him to bounce back after that. Didn't have a really good showing in the championship race last year, even though he made it, right? So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, he had that unfortunate event too, where he got kind of hit.
Right.
Kind of ended his day for the championship that day. But yeah,
Right.
man, we'll see
I
going
think,
into.
you know what? I think his attitude and demeanor hasn't changed or hasn't gotten better ever since, what was it, Watkins Glen, when his teammate Kyle Larson kind of ran him wide, took him out, and then he won the race, and he was like, oh, yeah, good job, or like, congrats. You remember he was all pissed off, and they probably had a meeting about it. But his demeanor didn't change,
right.
Didn't get any better since then. So, I don't know. There might be trouble in the Hendrick garage. Not sure. So we'll have to wait and see, right? Okay, so let's do a 2-minute NBA talk about the All-Star Weekend. I didn't watch a lick of anything. I saw some white guy from the G League won the dunk contest. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who the hell won. Yeah, I didn't watch any of it, dude. It's just these games. I heard that it was pretty bad, though.
I turned it on just to chuckle for a few possessions and then changed the channel. They just went back and forth, and then they took turns just doing like a dunk.
I mean, it's kind of impossible for me to watch this game when it's like on Daytona 500 day, right?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Even after the game was completely after the race, and I still didn't care. I still would have rather watched, a learning video for my son, or like freaking Coco for the 10 millionth time. I still would have rather watch those ones.
I'd rather watch like some Christmas Day games, just the NBA All-Star game. I feel like the day before with the dunk contest has always been better. I feel like being able to, the 3-point contest has always been better. The skills, it's always been a funner day for me to watch. than the actual game itself.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA, the dunk contest has, kind of been historic always, right?
Right.
I think obviously with all their props and they try to make it too flamboyant at times as they have, but
Right.
I'd say I usually check in Saturday before I would check the actual All-Star game out.
Yeah.
But with no Warriors there as well, just kind of whatever,
I just think with how
I was
I just think with how the sport has been going, like the actual sport is being played, right? Like you complain about, oh, just put flags on them, right? In football and like basketball, with the Euro step and calling this and calling that, like the game has changed a lot over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And if I were to rank them, I would say get rid of the NBA All-Star. Like it doesn't need it. Like there's no reason to play a game. Close second is the Pro Bowl. And then I think that hockey, the NHL and baseball, and of course NASCAR are the three that are actually entertaining. They actually look like they're trying. Like baseball, you can't not care about hitting a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. You actually still have to see the freaking thing and hit it, right? So
I mean, it's pretty noticeable if you
right.
don't care, right?
Like a goalie just can't be like, all right, cool, yeah, just go ahead and hit this 98-mile-an-hour slap shot in my fucking rib cage. Like, no, you actually have to like try to stop it and play the game.
And then they kind of have like also that real like clinching type of event before, right, with the home run derby, kind of like the slam dunk contest. Like the NFL doesn't like have that, right? So it's like, I mean, NASCAR, I remember they used to do, did they bring it back when they would have like the pit crew challenge and they would time him and like cool. Pretty much the pit crew pretty much like would win like an all-star of their own, right? And that was pretty cool.
They might do that, but not televise it.
No, it was televised. It was like huge one year. That's the thing with NASCAR. They're like always trying with the All-Star race, which is pretty fun to me because they don't care about keeping it a certain way. They've been switching it up almost every year, it seems like. And they do I think they do a pretty good job of trying to figure out what works. And I think, remember that one year there was a couple years, it might have been 2 years in a row when NASCAR did like the Indy type of car tires where you would have like the red and the green tires and some tires fell off and you could have like certain tires for one state. They try all different types of stuff.
Is it back in Texas this year again? Or no, it's
the All-Star race?
No, it's in North Wilkesboro.
It's at that or whatever.
Yeah, they're bringing it back for the All-Star race. That's right. Okay, so the race there actually doesn't count for any points, but
exactly.
That's right. They might be testing it and then next year have it again there or turn that into an actual race. So, but yeah, and then finally you have an NHL standings check-in. I will say that my create a player in my NHL video game is going very nicely. I believe I am like top 5 in the league in points. Obviously, that's the whole league, so I'm dominating as a rookie. Pretty much a shoo-in for the Calder Trophy. Just got bumped up to the first line last weekend for the Winnipeg Jets. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's kind of tough though, because like I have it on like a hard mode. Because
it's a Canadian team, and you can't win it.
Right? No. When you're on the third line playing against mostly third line guys, it's that's fine. But when you're then playing like the Washington Capitals and you're on the first line, you're playing against Ovechkin. You're playing against Sidney Crosby. You're playing against like these top tier guys when you're on the first line. Yeah, your teammates are good and can give you maybe better passes, or they will actually put the puck in the back of the net, but also it becomes harder because you're playing against top line defensemen and wingers and centers. So you have still to this date, you have the Boston Bruins first place in the league, 91 points, the only team over 90, and then a close second, actually the Carolina Hurricanes at 84, and then the West is like wide open. The Boston Bruins have almost 20 more points than every team in the West. They have 91 points, and the most points in the West are the Las Vegas Golden Knights at 73. And then the Dallas Stars have 72. Like, it's pretty much a two-horse race there. So, I mean...
the Dallas Stars have 12 overtime losses.
Right,
but they're leading the Central, man.
So just imagine what their record would be like if you turn half of those into wins. You get 6 more points, you have almost 80, right? And you're like...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the Winnipeg Jets are only 1 point behind in the Central.
Not
Look at
bad.
my Seattle Kraken up there, only 3 points out in the Pacific Division. San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks, 47.
Horrible.
They actually killed the Kraken, I think, yesterday.
They
It was
did
like
3-0,
3
I
or four
believe.
zero. Yeah. Did you see that crazy goal? So it was a face off in Seattle's own zone, right? So the face off circle right by the goalie. The center for the Kraken is trying to kind of jar the puck free, and he gets a hold of it, and he tries to, hit it back to his defenseman, and it goes past the defenseman and past the goalie right into the net. Yeah,
No.
yeah. It
Really?
was Pat McAfee, like the Pat McAfee show. He shared the video. It was like right before I jumped on. So it was from yesterday's game, but I didn't see the highlight until today. It was a pretty crazy goal. And it was funny because the goalie for the Seattle Kraken was former Shark Martin Jones, so he was not happy with the outcome of that goal right there. And that was halfway through the game too. It was 0-0, and that made it 1-0. And then of course the Sharks did not look back there. But this is absolutely crazy. Like, you're not going to get as good of odds on the Bruins to win the championship as you probably did at the beginning of the season. If you
Let me see.
it's not. I mean, the Boston, they have to be like damn near close to even money just to win the championship. Probably not.
I
But
mean, I mean, no, but I mean, I'm gonna pull it up right here. But I'll tell you what, the Boston Bruins, they seem like they always have decent odds going into these seasons, right?
right.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, 8 losses still. They have less than 10 losses. And then of course it's the Carolina Hurricanes with
overtime
10.
losses is 5, which is almost lowest in the league. Next to
Yep.
some of the lowest in the Atlantic, only have 4 overtime losses though. But man,
Yeah, but
those over
yeah, but they're turning those overtime losses, would be's, into wins.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
Man, it's not loading. Sorry,
oh, it's okay. Yeah, I've been trying too. And that's the one thing. Hockey and me playing the video game kind of wants me to get back into it. But obviously, I want to save money as well. But I've always been, over the past couple months, I've been thinking about getting that bundle. Because the Disney Plus. Because when Disney Plus first came out, I bought the 3-year plan. It was like $125. One-time fee for 3 years, so that came out to like $3.50 or $4 a month. Huge savings there. Instead of paying like the 7 or 8 when it first came out monthly, right? And then now they have the bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus, and I'm thinking to myself, and I've never gotten a chance to do it, but to have my brother drop his Hulu, and then for us to just get the bundle, and then he pays for his share, and we split it. So that way, pretty much, we're all paying the same amount of money still, like the $10 or $12, and then you add ESPN Plus, because there are so many games every night that are out of market. They're on ESPN Plus. Like I go and like, oh, the Sharks aren't playing tonight, but dude, like all 3 of the 7:30 p.m. start times over here on the West Coast or in the Central, wherever, they're on ESPN Plus. So for someone who wants to like kind of watch more games other than Sharks, I have to, definitely want to look into that.
But they do have a lot of games during the week for free on like regular cable, I think, right? I mean,
Is ESPN? Yeah, ESPN like might be or something. Yeah,
but I mean, for $4 or whatever they were like offering ESPN Plus for, I guess it's a good deal to see a bunch of hockey games if you're a
right.
huge fan.
And that's the thing. I haven't gotten a chance to look at the bundle. Like, hey, my brother, what are you paying for Hulu? And what are we currently paying for Disney? If we all get the bundle, are we saving? Are we paying the same amount, or are we paying more, right? So I just need to see if it makes any sense to do that.
Boston Bruins, Mike, about 4.5 to 1
Okay, so
to
still
win your
okay.
Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Colorado Avalanche here at 6 to 1. The Carolina Hurricanes 7 to 1. Your boy Ryan Blaney does a lot of marketing and promoting stuff at the Carolina Hurricane games. Sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Your Toronto Maple Leafs 7-8 to 1. Rangers
Throw that ticket away.
Yeah, right.
Maple Leafs. Sorry.
Your Winnipeg Jets 22 to 1. The Golden Knights currently first in the Pacific here with 73 points, like you mentioned earlier, Mike. They're looking at about 14 to 1. Not bad, but just like you said, the Bruins are so strong. It's just I don't know if it's going to be chalky, but man, Seattle Kraken at 22 to 1. They're kind of fun. I don't know if they can have that type of like success that we saw out of like the Golden Knights when they first came to be.
Right.
But
I don't see that. I don't
man,
see that same type of magic, but we'll see.
Nashville was fun too when they were pretty good a
Mm-hmm.
couple years back, but they're sitting here at 80-1 with their 60 points in the Central Conference
I
in
think the
the or Central
Sharks
Division from the conference.
Sharks had at least 2 series against them during their heyday in the playoffs. I believe they won one, and I think they might have lost one. So yeah, but all good stuff. We've had a fun night of colliding the worlds of sports and comics. I believe episode 179 is done, bro. Almost 180. We'll be doing that in 2 weeks. So that would be what, like Wednesday, or Monday or Tuesday, the first week of March, actually. So hope everyone has a fantastic rest of February and going into March. Yeah, so it'll be the 6th or 7th of March that we're recording 180. So Mark, send us off for 179.
Yeah, I was gonna pull up some real quick Champions
Oh,
League,
sorry about
but
that.
I mean, who the hell? I just wanted to give the scores. I know Liverpool was winning.
Right.
They ended up getting their booty
They're
handed to them. They were up
booty
two
smacked.
one. They ended up losing 5-2 at Anfield, which sucks. Napoli beat Frankfurt 2-0. The games tomorrow, if I can get them real quick.
Champions League tomorrow.
Oh,
You have Inter Milan and FC Porto, and RB
nice.
Leipzig and Man City.
And Man City. There it is for tomorrow. But
Yes, sir.
probably talk about more about that in 2 weeks and whatnot, see how it develops here. But to take us away, thank you, everybody. Sorry it's a little bit late. We had technical difficulties coming in to try to get on the YouTube. And yes, but always we try to deliver. Episode 179 is wrapped up and in the books. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, being part of this collective world that we collide with sports and comics on the weekly. Thank you to Treasure Island Comics, our sponsor, as always, for giving us a chance to read through all these books like we had 10, 11 today, quite a bit, but it's always fun to get to talk and discuss and debate our favorite writers, artists, and books with you every week or bi-weekly now that we're getting into spring. But make sure to check us out on all social media platforms at the Comic Bookies on Instagram and Twitter. The comic bookies at gmail.com. If you guys want to email us, let us know if you guys have an interview for us or you guys want to talk and chat it up. But share us, subscribe, and drop a review and 5 stars if you guys will. But thank you as always, and we will check you out in 2 weeks for 180. We're getting close to 200, and it's gonna keep getting fun. So look for your boy down in Fontana. Hopefully, like Mike said, the rain stays away, but the race is gonna be fun. And hopefully the sun's out. But thank you, everybody, for checking us out, and peace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a glorious time this weekend at Fontana, and we'll talk to everybody on the 6th or 7th of March for episode 180. But for Sean, who will probably be back in 2 weeks, this is Mike. He is Mark. This is the Comic Bookies Podcast, episode 179, signing off. Enjoy the sports, enjoy the comics, and enjoy the hell out of each other. Peace out. See y'all next week.
Peace. And always enjoy each other and enjoy the racing or whatever sport you're getting into this spring. And remember, the Masters is right around the corner as well. Peace.